Is Arista Networks a buy or a sell? Let's get started with the model. This is a large cap company, 140 billion market cap. They're trading at 112 a share, and they have 1.3 billion shares outstanding. Arista Networks is the leader in building scalable, high performance, and ultra low latency networks for data centers and cloud computing companies. They were founded in 2004, headquartered in Santa Clara, California. Let's look at their financials. The way you value a company is you estimate the free cash flows into the future, and then you discount those numbers back to today's value. That's what we're doing in this video, and free cash flow is cash flow from operations minus capital expenditures. They had under $1 billion of free cash flow in 2021, and then it blew up to $3.2 billion in the trailing 12 months. Look at those margins. They convert nearly half of their revenue into free cash flow. Net income is the profit or loss on the income statement. It's revenue minus expenses. That also grew a ton from $840 million to $2.7 billion. Really impressive margins once again. They convert 40% of their revenue into net income. Revenue is a sales for the company, and that more than doubled from $3 billion to $6.6 billion. We estimated 4 years of future free cash flows. We also estimated a terminal value, which is all cash flows past year 4, that's $116 billion. We discounted those numbers back to today using weighted average cost of capital. We get a value of the company of $100 billion. We divide that by 1.3 billion shares. And we get a calculated stock price of $80. They're trading at 112, so they're trading at a 41% premium. It's a sell according to the model. Do you think it's a buy or sell? Let me know in the comments. There are 33 companies in the same industry as Arista, and if they have a number in red, they're worse than the median. If they have a number in blue, they're better. They don't spend much in CapEx. They don't really do any manufacturing. They're debt-free, a 0 debt-to-equity ratio. They don't pay a dividend. Their free cash flow is $3.2 billion. HP is the highest at $3.5 billion, and HP is a much smaller in terms of market cap, but they're not growing anymore. Their revenue is going down. Arista's market cap is bigger than the next 3 companies combined. They're trading at 53 times earnings and 45 times free cash flow, so it looks overvalued. They don't generate that much revenue. Dell is the highest at $94 billion, but they have one of the highest 5-year annual revenue growth rates, 22%. And they're trading pretty close to their 52-week low. It could be a good time to get in. I'd rather buy it now than when it's trading close to its 52-week high. If you put $10,000 into this company 10 years ago, you'd be killing it at $263,000 today. That's a 39% annual return. To summarize, I have them trading at a 41% premium, ranking 7 out of 10. It's a really good company, great long-term opportunity. Short-term, it does seem overvalued, but it's trading pretty close to its 52-week low. So as long as you hold it for a few years, you should do well with this stock. Ratio is much worse than the median, so I give it 2 out of 10. And their financials are really, really strong, 9 out of 10. Free cash flow up 234% since 2021. Revenue up 124% since 2021. Here's their income statement. This is the third quarter 24, third quarter 23. Revenue up about 20% from 1.5 to 1.8 billion. Product revenue 1.5 billion. Service revenue 287 million. Both are up a good amount. Of the 1.8 billion of revenue, 1.5 billion is in the Americas. That's 82% of their revenue. EMEA 190 million, 11% of their revenue. APAC 140 million, 8%. APAC actually went down from last year. Last year was 150 million, but revenue went up in EMEA and the Americas. You can see they have really good margins. Product revenue 1.5 billion. Product expenses 600 million. Service revenue 287 million. Service expenses 56 million. So total cost of revenue 649 million. Gross profit is revenue minus cost of revenue 1.16 billion. 64% margin. Last year it was 62%. Let's go back to the income statement. Below gross profit is operating expenses, 235 million of R&D, 106 million of sales and marketing, 34 million of G&A. So total operating expenses 376 million. Operating income 785 million, up from 600 million. Their net income 748 million. Last year 545 million. They did add some shares. Last year they had 310 million shares outstanding. Now they have 314 million. But their EPS went up from $1.76 to $2.38. EPS is net income over shares outstanding. Let's look at a balance sheet. 11 billion of current assets, 2.5 billion of current liabilities, a really high current ratio. Current ratio is current assets over current liabilities. Total assets 13 billion. They have nearly $7.5 billion of cash and marketable securities. So they're really well funded. $1.8 billion of inventory, that's a lot of inventory. Here's a breakdown of the inventory: $650 million of raw materials, $1.1 billion of finished goods. They have $1.3 billion of deferred tax assets. This will help lower the company's taxes in the future. Total liabilities, $3.6 billion. Their biggest liability is deferred revenue, $1.6 billion. This is when a company receives payment for a product or service before it's provided. And more deferred revenue, $900 million. So this deferred revenue on top will be booked as revenue within 12 months. This deferred revenue on the bottom will be booked as revenue beyond 12 months. Assets minus liabilities equals equity, $9.2 billion of equity. They raised $2.4 billion from selling their business, and they profited $6.9 billion from running their business. We'll look at a statement of cash flows. This is for the trailing 9 months. Operating cash flow, $2.7 billion. That's how much cash they generate from running their day-to-day business. Up a lot from last year of $1.5 billion. This year they had a cash inflow of $1 billion in deferred revenue. Last year only $150 million. In their investing section, they spent $20 million on PP&A. Last year $28 million. In their financing section, you can see how much stock they bought back, $300 million. Last year $112 million. Let's look at the stock on Simply Wall Street. Its last price, $112, $142 billion market cap, up 4% in the past week, up 91% in the past year. Look how much the stock has risen since 2014. It was $4. It looks like 2 years later in 2016, it reached its all-time low. By 2019, it got to $20. It didn't move too much over the next 2-3 years. It was still 20 in 2021. It got to 35 in January 2022. Then over the next year, it came down, then came back up to where it was. Still around 30 in the beginning of 2023. But the stock has done phenomenal in 2023 and 2024. It just kept going up, peaking at 112 recently. Simply Wall Street's valuation is 76. They say the stock is 47% overvalued. 23 analysts price this stock. They say it's 108. They also say it's overvalued. Look how much their revenue has risen since 2013. It was $360 million. It got up to $2.4 billion in 2019. It came down a little bit in 2020, $2.2 billion. And then from that point, it's grown a ton. Partially through acquisition, it tripled from $2.2 billion to $6.6 billion. And they've been debt-free since 2014, and their equity only goes up year after year, $9.2 billion of equity. This is how you run a business. A lot of their equity is cash, $7.4 billion of cash. The CEO's salary has been $300,000 since 2017. Total compensation, $16 million, tenure as CEO, 16 years. Their employee count went from 750 in 2013 to 4,000 currently. The ticker trades on the New York Stock Exchange, Deutsche Börse, London Stock Exchange, Mexican Bolsa, Wiener Börse, and Sao Paulo Bolsa. So if you want to get a free discounted cash flow model, click on the video in the top right corner. Thanks for watching.